about, though? I'm curious. I returned the call for you because I've never talked to the White House before. Here's the pitch to Cey. Long drive. If it stays fair, it'll be gone. It's a home run. Yeah, he's called it a home run. Come on. They're arguing about it now, but he called it without a doubt. Steve Ripley, look at this argument. A 3-run homer. They think it was foul. I just watched the umpire. Whoa, look at Mario Soto. Look, let's just watch that picture now. There was almost confusion on the bases because Cey didn't know whether it was fair or foul, but the umpire immediately gave it the fair sign. Now they're in a huddle down there. The 4 umpires are discussing it. Now, I don't see how they could overrule the man who was down the third base line. Their Soto's still burning.
The only man who could overrule it would be Bob Engel if he had a better angle, but I believe that Steve Ripley's call will hold up. And Mario Soto was very fortunate he wasn't tossed out of the game because he did bump Ripley at least once, and before he was restrained by Dan Dreesen.
Let's watch it again on the replay now. Here's all we can show you on this. It was a low fastball, and he really hit it hard. Whoa! Now watch it. They're going to reverse the ruling. Now it's Jim Fry who's in the middle of it. They want to know how can anybody reverse the ruling of the third base umpire who was closer to the play than anybody. Look at Zimmer. Look at Don Zimmer. Boy, I'm amazed at Steve Ripley. Of course, he's a rookie umpire. Look at the bleachers. Are they upset? You know, the way we didn't have the best of angles because the ball was hit in that corner. It looked to me like maybe what made it go off at the angle, maybe it hit the foul pole. Let's watch it now. Then we're going to put it in slow motion. See what you think. Now, right here, it's still fair. You can't tell whether maybe it hit just barely glanced off the foul pole.
Harry, it looks like a foul ball. It looks like it curves around the foul pole when we slow it down.
Right here, now watch it. Well, if it curved around the foul pole, it would be a fair ball.
No, I meant that it looked like it curved before it got to the thing because it never left the ballpark. So I think Bob Engel, who is a home plate umpire, probably said I had a good look at it. I thought the ball was foul. And the crew chief overrules the rookie umpire at third.
Well, it really makes the umpire third base look terrible. And if they wanted to make him look bad, they've done it. Because he was down the line watching the ball, and he was the closest man to it. And that is saying the plate umpire, who was at least 100 feet further away from it, apparently was the umpire who made the call. Paul Runge. There's Steve Ripley. We're going to show it to you again. The fact that the ball is still in the ballpark, there's where the fan catches it, would indicate that it was a foul ball.
If it had left the playing field fair, it would have hit against the back screen. And it didn't do that. So even though they're arguing, I think they're arguing because Ripley did call the ball fair.
Well, there's no doubt he called it fair. And that's what Don Zimmer is arguing about.
Well, Harry, you can reverse a call, and as the umpires say on many occasions, it doesn't matter how long you take, you want to get it right. And I believe that they did get it right in this case, even though it goes against Ron Cey and against the Cubs. The runners will return to the bases, and Ron Cey will come back and have another shot at hitting one out.
I would imagine that this game is going to be continued under protest by the Cubs, though.
Well, I don't think you can protest a judgment call, so I don't think it...
Well, whose judgment call are we talking about? The judgment of the third base umpire or the judgment of the home plate umpire? Now, whose jurisdiction is it?
Well, it's still a judgment call at any rate because it's not an infraction of the rules, and you cannot protest a judgment call.
Well, then why don't you let the plate umpire call them all? Why do you have the third base umpire who's that close, who runs down the line with because the jurisdiction of the call is his? Otherwise, he wouldn't even bother to go down the line.
But he can and has been on many instances overruled, as is the case right here.
Well, what I'm saying is if you can't protest a judgment call, you certainly can protest the fact that one umpire's judgment says it's fair, and the other umpire's judgment, who is not the umpire who is empowered normally to make the call, says that it was a foul ball. The other guy, who's usually is empowered to make the call, says it's a fair ball. And he was much closer to the play than the other guy. I would protest anyway. I don't care whether how many times you win a protest anyway.
You're never going to win the protest, so it really doesn't matter. But I guess if it satisfies Jim Frey to do it, they might. We'll have to see what happens. But Ron Cey seems a little bit unconcerned at this point. He's just sitting in the dugout waiting for all the smoke to clear.
Well, I don't know why they delayed the start of the game 15 minutes to allow the crowd to get in. We could have started the game on time, and everybody could have gotten in now during this long delay. Look at the bleacher area. The Cincinnati outfielders are trying to pacify them out there. They don't mind as long as it's hot dog wrappers. But this argument hasn't stopped yet, friends.
Well, the most important part of this argument that the Cubs will lose is that Mario Soto is still standing on the mound getting cold, because he's been out there a good 20 minutes at this point. It can't do him any good. He didn't have much rhythm to begin with. This isn't going to help him any. So perhaps the Cubs will get a break, and I think the bullpen is going to start loosening up for Cincinnati.
Boy, look at Zimmer. He's got just the greatest baseball player's photogenic face for an argument I've ever seen. Old Zimmer's getting his money's worth. And I tell you, maybe another point of the argument might be, why wasn't Soto thrown out of the ballgame for coming in body contact with an umpire?
Well, there now we can agree on something. I feel the same way.
Don't break our record.
Well, he definitely should have been tossed out because he had to be restrained. There was a little bumping and shoving going on. And now let's see. They got somebody warming up in the bullpen, and Vern Rapp has gone out to talk to Soto, and that might be it for Mario. I think what's going to happen, though, he'll probably sit down and perhaps come back in as Ochinko is throwing in the bullpen.
Well, he does have the history of the blisters, and I think he wants to continue. Vern Rapp talking to him. Meanwhile, back on the ranch at third base. Here's a little bit of the argument that raged, and you will see Soto furious. Now, he's just entering your picture. All right, look at that. He's not through yet. Dan Dreesen finally pulled him away. They're still in the midst of it. Ruben Amaro's got his arm around Don Zimmer, and Richie Hebner also.
Zim says, let me go, I'm okay. I've said what I had to say. Well, I think this wins it, Harry. I think this is the longest argument by far of the year.
Now the ground crew comes out to clean up the debris which has been hurled onto the field. And Zimmer now is off to the back near the coaching box. They've cooled him off. That's Ruben Amaro talking to him. I wonder if this will be in the Cubs 1984 highlight film. Whoa, what's breaking out now? Look at Jim Frey has been being carried back. There's Mel Hall holding his skipper. It's Larry Boa. Something that the umpire said provoked both Frey and Boa. Something must have been said. They were merely discussing it there at the moment. I can't say too much about the control of the umpires in this situation at all.
Well, somewhere along the line, they just have to walk away and start this thing, but it appears that that's not what's going to happen. All four umpires have stayed congregated right on the third base bag, and nothing seems to be getting accomplished.
Here's Jim Frey taking his jacket off now. Throws his jacket high in the air. Somebody apparently has been kicked out of the game. Maybe it was Boa. Maybe that's what infuriated him.
Well, I'm sure it was also Jim Frey. I think that's what started Jim off, because if not then, certainly after he tossed his jacket up in the air.
Well, what do you expect? When the third base umpire running down the line to get a good view, and therefore is the closest man to the ball, in a situation where it's always his job to make the decision, calls it fair, and the plate umpire, who maybe still had his mask on, reverses the decision.
Vern Rapp is calling his team off the field. He's got almost everyone off but Eddie Milner. Now he'll motion to him to come on into the dugout and sit down and wait till this thing cools off.
Well, we'll see now. We'll have to count the bodies here in a moment to see who's still going to be with us. Jim Frey now has gone to the dugout. Boy, he is infuriated.
Meanwhile, Dennis Eckersley, who threw 2 perfect innings, is still sitting there. At least he has the opportunity of perhaps going into the locker room, getting a little bit of warmth.
Here's Vukovich talking to Bob Engel. The plate umpire is Paul Runge. He apparently reversed the decision. Randy Marsh is the umpire at first, Bob Engel at second, and the rookie Steve Ripley is the man who made the original fair ball call, the third base umpire. And here's Don Zimmer. Here's Jim Fry and Don Zimmer are back in there again, along with John Vukovich. Now Fry is making some point very coolly. I tell you, the competition between these clubs all year. Remember in Cincinnati, Arnie just reminded me that Jim Fry and Dave Parker got into a shouting match at each other. And Parker stands 6'7", Fry about 5'8".
I think the only way Parker's going to be able to get Fry today is if he goes into the locker room to pay him a visit, because I think he will be in that locker room. And the scoreboard still shows the 3 runs, and that's going to come down.
Well, now the argument is over. The 4 umpires are now again engaged in serious discussion. And what they're probably saying is, what's the best way for us to get ourselves off the hook?
Well, if
now, go we in for more trouble if we call it fair, or we in for more trouble if we say it's foul?
If they reverse it, Harry, there'll be another 20-minute discussion from the Cincinnati side.
Look at the graphics there. Question mark on the score. Joe Carneo came up with that one. The scoreboard has it 3-0. Now there's Jim Fry. Apparently the point he just made in the first calm discussion is one worth meditation on the part of the 4 men in blue. Their reasoning.
Maybe they're saying, Harry, let's get the story straight in case they do protest. We can figure out exactly what went on.
Now that's Bob Engel, apparently, who's the umpire-in-chief. He seemed to be doing all the talking, and he was a second base umpire. He had the worst angle of anybody. There's Jim Fry. John Zimmer is cooled off now. There you see the Cincinnati Reds. Let's see. Now here comes their manager, Vern Rapp, being called out. Let's see what happens here. No wonder our government has so much trouble. If 4 guys can't even decide whether the ball's fair or foul, how do you expect our Congress to settle some of these profound problems that they seem to be sidestepping all the time?
Well, in a collective bargaining agreement, maybe they'll just say, okay, I'll tell you what, will you accept 2 runs and we'll call it a draw?
Again, it's Bob Engel doing all the talking. So he is the umpire-in-chief. Right to Engel's left. Ruben Amaro and his skipper.
It's kind of an interesting discussion, Harry, because I've never seen an argument that has gone through so many stages. I've never seen them say one manager, you sit back here, we'll go meet with the other manager, because if they have overruled it, it's a pretty easy decision. They start again and it doesn't count. So maybe there is a technicality involved.
Yeah, I think John Vukovich maybe is the guy who brought something up, because he was the one who talked to the 4 umpires and then went back and talked to Fry, and then Fry came out very calmly and coolly and made his point. In the meantime, Ron Cey doesn't know whether he has his 8th home run of the year and his 32nd RBI or not. Apparently he's more inclined to or not because he's got a bat in his hand. Now Vern Rapp.
I think the British beat the Argentinians in less time than it's taken the umpires to decide if that home run was fair or foul.
We're going to show you the disputed home run again in case you're joining us late. And if so, where in the devil were you? Why weren't you with us at the beginning anyway? Here it is. This is what the third base umpire, Steve Ripley, ruled was a fair ball. He thought apparently it curved around the pole. But had it done that, it would have probably gone out of the ballpark. Now let's see what they're going to rule. There's Bob Engel talking to Jim Fry. Whoa, look at this. Whoa, who is that charging out? There's a free-for-all now, boy. They come from all over. Soto must have been the one charging out of the dugout. That's Richie Hebner got some licks in. There's Soto. Holy cow. What a rhubarb. Arnie, could we pick up who started sprinting out of the dugout?
Jody Davis looks hurt, Harry.
Jody Davis is hurt. Look at Soto. He's kicked. He wants to throw the bat at the fans. Let him. That's his manager pulling him away. Boy, how bad is Jody Davis hurt?
A fan threw a beer at Mario Soto, and that incited him. He grabbed the bat and wanted to go after the fan with a bat.
Yeah, there's Soto coming into the picture. He came charging out of the dugout. That was Zimmer that went down with him. Now here they come from every direction, including the bullpen. Where was Jody Davis? He was hurt. Boy, that could be. While the four umpires were talking things over with Fry, Soto came charging out of the dugout. I wish we could isolate Richie Hebner. He was getting some good licks in. Hey, these same two teams here tomorrow. Need I say more? What? Here's Hebner. This has got to be one of the prize baseball fights of all time. There's Jody Davis, though. Is that his knee he's holding? Let's get Jody. Where is he? He's all right. There he is.
Well, I'd assume that Soto has got to be thrown out of the game at this point. How much can you do before they boot you? And he is in the locker room. I don't think that he's going to continue.
Maybe the fact that he came charging on the field would indicate that the ruling has been a 3-run homer. Or why would he be so infuriated otherwise?
Well, he might have been thrown out of the game, and when he realized that, thrown out of the game for the bumping altercation down the third baseline, when he realized that, that's when he came out to have another word with Ripley.
Yeah.
So now he's got to be out of it for sure, one way or the other. And they had a left-hander, Bob Ochinko, warming up, so he'll be probably put in the game.
Billy Conner, I must have lost his pants during that fight. Pull him up, Billy. Watch this now. Looks like Zimmer tried to be a peacemaker here. Now watch him. See, he's trying to protect the umpires from the onslaught of Mario Soto.
Well, Golden tried to slow down Soto. When he saw Soto out of the corner of his eye, he tried to tackle him, and Zimmer tried to help, and that's when everything broke loose.
Now let's see what it is. Ochinko quite definitely is the new pitcher. As of now, the Cubs have a 3-run homer already to their credit. Because the base runners aren't out there.
Ochinko will have as long as he wants to warm up, but he was throwing during this entire incident. There you take a look at the embattled Richie Hebner, who was trying to protect Don Zimmer.
Never a dull moment at Wrigley Field, and these same two adversaries will climb into the ring for a 9-round fight or more, starting at 1:20 tomorrow afternoon. And tickets are available. There you see Zimmer and Brian Sandberg. There's Richie Hebner.
Zim looks like he's got a bit of a scratch on his face that he didn't have when the game started, so he got a little souvenir of that fight. Take a look at it on his right cheek.
All right, Ochinko's been given all the time he needs. They're here from Appleton, Wisconsin, from the...
Bob Engel is now coming once again into the Cub dugout to have a word with John Vukovich, and he's disappearing right now, probably going to have a word with Jim Fryer. He's going to talk about a protest perhaps on the telephone.
There you see, you get a good look. There is the umpire, Bob Engel, calling to the press box. They have to announce if the game is being played under protest. The Cardinals got 7 runs in the first inning at Atlanta. Another one in the second inning. But Atlanta got 2 in the first and 4 in the second. And it's 8-6 at the end of 2. Murphy and Chambliss hit home runs.
Now Ruben Amaro is saying something to Bob Engel. Maybe it's an unlisted number.
Who's it? Dallas Green's even on the phone.
He just wants to find out if any more pitchers are hurt.
No, it looks like the home run will not be allowed. Because Cey is out there with a bat, which means there'll be runners at first and third. Cey will be the batter with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wouldn't it be something after all this as Cey walks up there and hits the first pitch out of the ballpark? Rich Bordy, who was in the middle of that fight, rubbing his hand a little bit. He must have. Dennis Eckersley's down in the bullpen now, getting warmed up again.
He's probably saying, boy, what a league. I spent all my career in the American League in one day, and look what's happened.
The phone is not working in the dugout, and I haven't been able to contact the press line. Bob Engel is the umpire-in-chief of this crew. Ochinko will inherit a 1-2 count. Mario Soto has been kicked out of his ball game, and I don't know who else. We'll have to wait and see. Now the crowd realizes that the home run has been reversed, and it's been called by the umpires as merely a foul ball. I'm sure you're going to hear the announcement that the game is being played under protest. Boy, everybody was in that fight except Marla Collins. And I'm surprised somebody didn't tackle her. Runners at first and third. And here's Ron Cey. Both teams have protested. Both Fry and Soto are out of the game. There's a line drive to the shortstop. On the first pitch, Cey hit the ball hard, but right at Foley. Now here's Jody Davis. There's Jody Davis coming up.
That was one of the longest at-bats in history, and it didn't end well as Ron hit the ball hard, and there he's not very happy about the outcome either.
Carry back at Wrigley Field. A young man, what's your name?
Wally Altman.
And you caught that foul ball?
Yes, I did. It was fouled by about 5 feet. We just came in. We bought standing room only tickets, and we came in, and the ball came right over my head, and I caught it.
And how do you explain the umpire calling it fair?
I would say from the position that he might have been standing, the ball did look fair from where he was, but where we were standing, it was foul.
All right, thank you for coming up.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right. Yeah. Right there is where that's where this young man was standing, where he caught the ball. Where you saw that X. There's a high pop fly, foul territory, out of play. And again, the crowd starts yelling at the umpire. Eckersley in his first time at bat.
In 10 years, Harry, he said he hasn't swung a bat in that long. I know he's got to be happy to face Ochinko instead of Soto.
There's a pitch outside. No score, but a lot of excitement. There have been a lot of hits, a lot of runs, but not in baseball. The hits have been on each other, and the runs have been back and forth to cause the collisions of bodies. Hey, Eckersley had a good swing. Hostetler is homer with a man on for the Rangers as they lead the White Sox 3-0. There's a pitch a little outside. Ball 4, he walked him. Holy cow, and Eckersley has reached base, batting for the first time in 10 years. I'm autographing this baseball the young man caught. And I'm writing fair or foul with a W.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, see you later.